All right, so are you ready for your inspection?
I am. Today we will be doing the pre-trip inspection. I'm going to do the front of the vehicle first. I'm going to start from the top, work my way to the bottom. So the top, we have our clearance lights. Not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, proper color amber. The 3 in the middle indicates the commercial ID lights, and the 2 on the side on the outer represent the clearance lights, which lets you know its height and its width. The windshield, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, clean and clear, no illegal stickers obscuring my vision. It is not cracked for more than 1/4 inch, and if it was, you'd have to replace the window. The rubber seal, not ripped, not cut, not torn, properly mounted, good working condition. The wiper arms, not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition. The rubber wiper blades, not ripped, not cut, not torn, properly mounted, good working condition. The hood mirror, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition. Properly adjusted to the driver's view, no illegal stickers, clean and clear. The headlights, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition. You got the high beams, the low beams, and the full-way emergency flashers and turning indicators. These are proper color amber, not broken, not cracked, and properly mounted. We have our reflector, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, and it is the proper color amber. If you take a step back, the vehicle's not leaning to the left or to the right, indicating a bad suspension or underinflated tire. If you look underneath the vehicle, there is no hanging wires, no hanging hoses, no fresh leaks, and no puddles. That concludes the front of the vehicle. Now we're going to open up and look at the engine components. Make 3-point contact, clear. We're gonna move to the passenger side of the engine compartment. First things first is the washer fluid reservoir, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition. The cap is on tight with the rubber seal, and it is not leaking any fluids, and you check this daily. The washer fluid hose, no abrasions, no bubbles, no cuts, properly mounted, good working condition, no leaking any fluids. We have our air brake hose, no abrasions, no bubbles, no cuts, properly mounted, good working condition, properly insulated, not making funny hissing sounds, not leaking any air. You have your radiator hose, no abrasions, no bubbles, no cuts, not ripped, not torn, properly mounted, secured with the clamps, good working condition, not leaking any fluids. Now we're going to move over to the driver's side of the engine compartment. Next, we will do our 3 critical fluids, starting with the coolant reservoir, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition. The cap is on tight with the rubber seal, not leaking any fluids. You check this daily at the proper level between minimum and maximum. The coolant hose, no abrasions, no bubbles, no cuts, not ripped, not torn, properly secured with the clamps, not leaking any fluids. The oil fill, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition. The cap is on tight with the rubber seal, and there is no leaks. All hardware is present, no loose or missing pieces or bolts. We have our dipstick, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition. It is not leaking, so to use the dipstick, you would pull it out, wipe it down, insert it, take it back out, and you measure it between minimum and maximum, and you put it back in. Next is the power steering reservoir, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition. It is at proper level between minimum and maximum, and you check that daily. The same with the oil, you check that daily. The cap is on tight with the rubber seal, and it is not leaking anywhere around the caps. The power steering hose, no abrasions, no bubbles, no cuts, not ripped, not torn. Good working condition, properly mounted, secured with the metal clamps on this hose and on this hose back here. Now I'm gonna move to the steering components. I'm gonna start with the steering column and the universal joint. Not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, no illegal welding, and properly greased, with no more than 2 inches or 10 degrees of play. Next is the steering gearbox. Not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, no illegal welding, and no leaking from the hoses, no leaking to be found. Next is going to be the 3-piece steering linkage, the pitman arm, the drag link, and if you could zoom in real quick, back here you have the steering knuckle or steering arm. They are neither bent, broken, cracked. They are properly mounted with the castle nut and the cotter pin. I don't know if you want to zoom into that real quick. Castle nut and cotter pin. Good working condition. We will now move back to the the suspension components. The leaf spring hanger, leaf spring mount. Not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted. Good working condition. All the bolts are present. It is securely fastened to the frame, which isn't bent, broken, cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, no illegal welding. The leaf spring itself, not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, no shifting, and no scissoring. The U-bolts, not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, no illegal welding. On the testing truck, there is a airbag, no abrasions, no bubbles, no cuts, properly mounted, good working, no leaking any air. The airbag mount, which isn't on this truck, it is on the other one. Not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition. All hardware is present, no missing bolts, no missing pieces. The shock absorber, not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition. No illegal welding and no leaking any fluids. Back here you have your back hanger, not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition. All hardware is present, no loose or missing pieces or hardware or bolts. Next, we will go to the braking components. The air brake hose, no abrasions, no bubbles, no cuts, not ripped, not torn, not making funny hissing sounds, no leaking any air. It is properly insulated. Next, we are going to the brake pads. Not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition. Minimum life of 1/4 of an inch. No contaminants such as oil and grease or white powder from a fire extinguisher. And next, we're going to the brake drum. Not broken, not bent, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, no illegal welding, no residue buildup like oil or grease or white powder from a fire extinguisher. Minimum life, 1/2 inch. We have the rim. Not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, no illegal welding. We have our valve stem or air valve. Not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, no illegal welding. The valve is not touching the rim or is not touching the tire. So it is secure, fastened, and it is not leaking any air. You would use an air pressure gauge to gauge the air pressure with the valve stem. The lug nuts, not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, no loose or missing pieces. There's no rust streaks, no rust trails, and not shiny metal threads indicating looseness. Sorry, I'm nervous.
It's okay. Doing great.
We have our steering axle tire. I'm gonna start with the inflation. It is properly inflated to the manufacturer specifications. For the condition, it is evenly worn. They must be original. No recap, no retread. A minimum tread depth of 4/32 of an inch for the steering axle tire. If you can look over to the driving axle tire, the minimum tread depth is 2/32 of an inch. They don't have to be original. They can be recap and they can be retread. Moving on to the side of the vehicle, starting with the side marker light. Not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, proper color amber, all hardware is present. It functions as running lights, turning indicators, and forward flashers. The mirror, the driver's side mirror, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition. It is 10 inches from the cabin. It is clean and clear, properly adjusted to the driver's view, and no illegal stickers obscuring your vision. The def tank, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, secured in the metal casing. The cap is on tight with the rubber seal, and it is secured with the strap. There is no leaking, no puddles underneath. The fuel tank, not broken, not bent, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition. It is secure with the metal saddle straps and the rubber seal. Not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition. It prevents metal to metal contact so that it wouldn't damage the fuel tank. The cap is on tight with the rubber seal. Oops, and the T-chain. The maximum capacity is 90%. though some tanks will tell you 95, which you could read right here. But more cases than not, it's 90% maximum capacity. Starting with, okay, yeah, so we're gonna move to the trailer frame and cross member. Frame and cross member. Not bent, not broken, not cracked. Properly mounted. Good working condition. No illegal welding. All hardware is present. Next, we will do our air hoses and lines. Our emergency red. Our service blue. No abrasions, no bubbles, no cuts. Not leaking any air, not making funny hissing sounds. Firmly secure at both ends, as well as the glad hands, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition. The rubber seal in the middle are not ripped, not cut, not torn. No leaking any air, not making funny hissing sounds. The green electrical line, which can also be black, not ripped, not cut, not torn. No wires sticking out, no illegal tape. Not damaged in any way, securely fastened to the tractor, the trailer. Moving on to the battery box. Not broken, not cracked, mounted securely. The connectors are on tight. They're not ripped, not cut, not torn, no wires sticking out, no illegal tape. All C-caps are present. There is no residue buildup, no corrosion, and no leaking any battery fluid anywhere on the vehicle or on the floor. Now we're gonna move on to the coupling system, which is actually very important, and you should be able to get everything correctly. Starting with the apron. Not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, no illegal welding, no holes. The fifth wheel skid plate. Not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, properly greased with no daylight and no space, no daylight, no gap between the apron and the fifth wheel skid plate. The pivot pin, not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, no illegal welding, secured with the pin. The release arm and the safety latch, not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, in the proper locked position. The platform, not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, no illegal welding, secured and fastened with the mounting bolts. Not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, securely fastened. All hardware and bolts are present, not loose, not missing. Shiny metal tread and rust streaks would indicate looseness.
Whoops.
We cannot see it from this angle, but I promise you, there is a 2-inch steel kingpin, not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, no illegal welding. There is a locking jaw surrounding the shank of the kingpin. That isn't broken, not cracked, not bent. It is properly mounted, in good working condition, and in the proper lock position. We will now move on to the cross members. Not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, no illegal welding. All the hardware is present, is fastened to the trailer frame. Not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition. All hardware is present. The DOT reflective tape. Not ripped, not cut, not torn. Properly applied. Proper color red, proper color white, with a minimum visibility of 50%. Our marker light, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition. Proper color amber, they work as running lights. That's about it. Our landing gear, frame, casing, support arm, and bridge. Not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, no illegal welding. The landing gear release arm, not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, and the proper locked position. The landing gear boot, not bent, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition. It moves freely and it is in the fully raised position. And be sure to mention that you have proper clearance between the landing gear and the frame of the trailer so that you can have sufficient space to make your lefts and your right turns. Moving on to the side marker light, not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, proper color red. They function as running lights, turning indicators, and four-way flashers. marker lights, clearance lights, ID lights. The 3 lights in the middle represents commercial ID. The 2 on the side represents the clearance for height and width. Not broken, not cracked, properly mounted, good working condition, proper color red. DLT tape. Not ripped, not cut, not torn. Properly applied. Proper color red and white with 100% visibility. Tail lights. Not broken, not cracked, properly mounted. Good working condition, proper color red. They function as turning indicators, 4-way emergency flashers, running lights, and brake lights. That concludes the walk around inspection. But if you do have to mention, the right side would be the same as the left side, and that's about it. I would conclude it. Give me my license.
All right. Thank you so much.